All right, welcome back, Prospect Live viewers. We're back with another 2020 MLB Draft team preview. Up today is the Oakland Athletics. Joining me, of course, to break down all things athletics is Joe Doyle. Joe, very interesting draft history when it comes to the Athletics. Let's pull up the graphic here. Just going back last couple of years, they seem to target, it's appropriate, no pun intended, athletes. Logan Davidson, Kyler Murray, Austin Beck, even Merrill a few drafts ago. So what are you hearing in regards to the Oakland Athletics? Is there any rumors about a potential maybe dual threat quarterback as a potential pick here in the first round? Maybe under slot, maybe Jalen Hurts out of Oklahoma? Could they go back to the Sooners football program?
I tell you what, why not, right? He's not making $1 million or anything in Philadelphia by now, but no, I think, in all honesty, Oakland is probably the biggest mystery in this draft, right? They pick at number 26. They can't pay their rent. They can't pay their minor leaguers. And all signs would point to them not paying Marcus Semien and Matt Chapman and Matt Olson. And it's going to be I think it's going to be a really weird few years for Oakland. I think Casey Martin is the guy that you want to look at out of the gates. A lot of those guys that we listed previously, they're great athletes. They play at premium positions, big arms, lots of upside. It just hasn't clicked for them. And that is the book on Casey Martin. I mean, huge power, 70 grade speed, 60 arm. If 10 was a rating, 10 would be his strike zone discipline. I mean, he's Vladimir Guerrero at the plate without the contact. So, I personally, I had Casey Martin going in the top 10 in like October. I thought he was finally going to figure it out. I thought it was all going to click, and he was going to be like an excellent option for Seattle at number 6. That unequivocally did not happen. He really struggled out of the gate in 2020. So I think if you can give the guy 2 or 3 years to develop in the system and just develop some strike zone approach, just some awareness at the plate, I really do think he could be an upper tier shortstop. He just needs to be selective.
Yeah, there's definitely some questions regarding, I'll say, polishing the baseball skills with Casey Martin, but I don't think it's all that different from what we saw from Logan Davidson, especially I was telling you guys this off air, from like what I saw from him early on in the Cape, and then he kind of improved in each, sort of stop. I saw him, with Clemson, and then I saw him actually with Vermont. But yeah, it seems like a very Oakland pick, They're always a surprise, but the one thing that seems to be consistent with all these guys is the athletes. Now, let's say you don't have any of that history, Joe. You're the Athletics GM. We always ask this question. What direction are you going with a pick? Are you looking for someone that falls there at 20? I mean, forget the money stuff. Best player available. Who do you think it could potentially be?
Best player available. So if I'm Oakland, I'm going to go after an arm just because you've got Jesus Luzardo, you've got AJ Puck coming. You stick a third arm in that rotation, and you kind of do the Barry Zito, Mark Mulder, and Tim Hudson thing all over again. Do it on a budget. Maybe a guy like Slade Ciccone, Chris McMahon, Bryce Jarvis. There's so many good arms in this draft. There's really a number of directions that Oakland could go. So most of the arms are safe too. They're all first round talents. So I think that's probably the route that I would go, and just try and compete with a good pitching staff.
Yeah, totally agree. I'd love to see, a Tanner Burns go there, or even like a Chris McMahon. I think one of those arms, those plug and play college guys that should be relatively close to the majors could be really interesting for a club like this that's already competing and seems to have that wave of talent coming up. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Thanks for joining me, Joe. That was our 2020 MLB Draft team preview for the Oakland Athletics. We'll be back with another one.